to see you. It's been a
Good to
while.
see you. Yes, how have you been?
I've been very good. I've been very good. Congratulations on Attack, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
Fabulous. Now, congratulations on Runway 34 as well, because that's based on the true event of the Jet Airways Doha to Kochi flight in 9W555, which narrowly survived the disaster in 2015 due to bad weather, low fuel, and of course, poor visibility. So, how aware were you about the story before undertaking the role, and what did you discover the most about it?
So I was aware vaguely, because of these incidents because they're one-off, and I knew something had happened, and I knew there was a flight to Kochi which had these issues, but everyone was safe. But I didn't know the details of obviously what went in, why was there less fuel, what were the visibility issues, and of course we have sort of fabricated a little to cinematic uh, liberty that you take, but it's based on that event. We've taken the gist from there, and it was a great experience. I think for me, doing this film gave me a sense of respect for the pilots,
Hmm.
because we've never really given it a thought as to how do they come to a decision in times of panic.
Hmm.
And in this film, while we were shooting, I realized that it's actually a very difficult job, because you have to forget about yourself and think about all the passengers on board, and their lives are in your hands. So one wrong decision can actually be catastrophic. So I think I started respect. I actually understood it and started acknowledging that respect more, because in the hindsight, you've never really thought about it. You
Yeah.
take it for granted, right? You've taken so many flights, you sit, you've given your life in someone else's hand. But
Hmm.
what really goes on in that cockpit if there's a panic situation is actually a big deal.
Right, absolutely. Now, obviously, you play a co-pilot as well in the film, if I'm not wrong. So, was your character actually inspired by anyone who was actually on the flight as well during the 2015 ordeal? Was it inspired by anyone in particular, or was it just a character that was made, do you think, just for the film and the entertainment purposes?
Like I said, that obviously even that flight was being flown by a captain and a co-pilot. I mean, there's a pilot and a co-pilot, and so the thread is similar, but of course the drama that you add for cinematic experience is different, and which is what
Mhm.
we've been saying, that it's not a biopic, therefore it's just
Mhm.
based on the true event. And to make it exciting and thrilling and edge of the seat, you obviously add a little more drama to it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, obviously, the film aims to address the conflict of morality, whether the main character is a savior or a culprit. But tell me, Rakul, has there ever been a time in your life where you faced a situation where you perhaps may have been considered to be the protagonist or the antagonist of that situation? And how did you overcome that moral dilemma, I guess?
I think we all go through such situations in life where you're misunderstood, where you're completely not related to what people think the true picture is. And I think that's a battle that each one of us fights in some or the other way. And
Hmm.
the only way to seamlessly go through it is stand by your own truth, and that's what the pilots also do here. And rest, I mean, even in life, you have to stand by what you believe in, you have to stand by what your truth is, and the world will see.
Right, absolutely. Very well said, And I think generally for actors and artists as well, life has been quite tough, I think, over the past few years as well, especially because of the pandemic and a lot of other things which have happened too. So, what has kept you going and positive actually over this time?
I'm in general, thankfully, a very positive person. I am a happy person, touch wood.
Yeah.
And I just feel that whenever there is a situation which is not perhaps the best, I always look at the positive. I always look at the things that I need to be grateful for, the things that I have right in my life. Because no one's life can be completely seamless. There will be turbulence, there will be issues. But at that time or in that situation, you sort of weigh that you've been so blessed in so many different ways, and you'll fight through this. And I
Mm.
think that's how I also generally lead my life. And
Right.
what keeps me going is my passion for my work, my passion for, I want to grow, I want to explore. I'm a workaholic. I love my job, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I wake up every day to try and do something new, to be a better version of myself, to show the world different roles, hoping that I get more opportunities to play as different roles as I can. So all of that
Mhm.
keeps going, keeps me
Right.
going.
Good. I mean, it's so lovely to hear that. And I think you've also been a part of some amazing films, I think, in the South as well. I think one of my favorite ones has to be Spider, actually. I mean, that is such a fantastic movie. It was amazing. I
Well,
love that
thank
film.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's one of my favorites. So from I think from the onset for you as an actor, because you obviously began, I think, with South Indian cinema. Obviously, Yaria was like your first Hindi film, but you've
That's right.
begun before since like 2011, I think, if I'm not wrong. So I guess how much has I guess the work in South, because they're very creatively liberal and very art, they're very fearless in terms of taking risks. That's one thing that I've noticed. So how much has that actually opened your eyes to creative content, and what factors do you actually consider before taking on a role?
When I started out in Telugu cinema, I was very young, and at that time, you don't really have it's like a clean slate. You don't really have any idea about what you're doing, about what your creative bend is, about what you like or dislike. And it's over the years that subconsciously you sort of make a world that you believe in.
Hmm.
And at that point, you don't even know if what you are thinking or what is the kind of person that you're becoming or what is it that you like is like, but subconsciously you pick up traits of a particular region or the way people work or a work culture or aesthetic, and as you keep growing, you keep evolving as a person, as an actor, as a professional. And to pinpoint what is it that I really picked from there is very difficult, but I know
Hmm.
that the person that I became, the professional that I became, thanks to my conditioning in the Telugu films, is something I owe to them because of the work ethic, the early morning person working for a specific period, just discipline that just came into my being. I mean, I was always a disciplined person, but even on work front,
Yeah.
uh, I think all those things, and then just the fact that I became more adaptable to different situations because I was there learning a different language, which is not my language, and
Hmm.
delivering.
Hmm.
So when it became Hindi, it became easier for me, because this is a language I knew. But at the same time, it gave me a lot of, I mean, I like challenges. So that challenge of delivering with a different set of people who don't speak the language that I speak was something which was new and exciting. So I think all those things sort of shape you into a person, and that all happens subconsciously. Today, the person that I am is an amalgamation of everything that I've learned from Telugu or South cinema and whatever I've learned over the years in Hindi, because Hindi's just begun 3 years back,
Hmm.
back again. So I think it's the people you meet, the co-stars you work with, their thoughts. But yes, I am very open to experimenting. I am very open to trying new stuff. Uh, yeah.
Hmm. Right, and I think it's also great to see like obviously again South Indian cinema has always been ahead of their league. I mean that's just a fact. I mean they always have been amazing. I mean of course, and so has Hindi cinema too. I mean Indian cinema generally has been amazing. That's for sure. But I think when I see successes of films like Pushpa and RRR, it makes me very happy to see that shift in dynamics now as well. I feel like, I mean, do you feel actually that the dynamics are changing as well now due to the craving for fresh content from audiences? Because what it is, it's also like commercial cinema, but at the same time, it's quite dynamic to what we usually see in Bollywood commercial cinema. Do
You
you feel
know,
that's changing?
it's a great time, and it's a great thing that the cinema is coming together from the south and north, and there are these Indian films being made. I don't like the
Yes.
word pan India, but I would
Yes,
say Indian films because we are all Indian. Uh,
absolutely.
but at the same time, let me tell you that there was always an audience for every kind of film. it's today, in the day and age of social media, in the day and age of Instagram, and where everything is so connected. The last 2 years of pandemic gave everyone so much time to watch content other than just Hindi films, specifically up north, because obviously there were not as many films coming out, and they got an access to the Western cinema and the South Indian cinema, and people appreciated it. So I
Mm.
think it's that dialogue. It's not that those films were not as big. Those films were even big. Rajnikant sir as a star,
Oh God,
for so
huge.
long, or so is Allu Arjun or Mahesh Babu, or Chiranjeevi sir, and their films have always been huge. They've
Mm.
been larger than life, and they've always worked. It's just that a new set of audiences got um, got an opportunity to view that cinema and then liked it. But again, I always feel that cinema crosses all language barriers, because the human emotion universally is the same. Which is why when we watch the Marvels and all, we like it because we somewhere connect with the human emotion of a film. So
Yes.
it's just that they got accustomed to a new language, but the films were great, are great, and now are enjoying a wider audience. And likewise, the Western films are enjoying a larger audience in India. So it's the
Mm.
same thing. India has a huge market for Hollywood films as well. So I think it's the same thing, and it's a great thing that this whole cross um, culture, has happened, and we can make some great cinema.
I think also like because there was a point as well where I think, especially during the 90s, I would say like a lot of the films were quite escapism films, like in Hindi cinema. They were very prominent. That whole aspect of larger than life and it
Yeah.
being an escape, like escapism sort of a source of cinema was definitely quite prominent. Do you think that that escapism aspect is still very prominent as well? In Indian cinema generally as well, or do you think it's more about the realism now and more people want to see that truth and want to be confronted by truth?
I think it's a little bit of both, because there are all kinds of people. There are people who have cinema as the only source of entertainment and love the escapism world. And let's face it, the last 2 years have been very difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when they want to go and watch a film, they want to enjoy, they want to escape into a world which is not real, something that they aspire, something which is full of heroism or larger than life things. And then there are people who like the real gritty cinema, and we are a lot of people. We are
Yeah.
a lot of people in any which way. So I think there's an audience for both. And the reason that everyone's enjoying the larger than life films right now is just the fact that everyone's been sitting at home for the last 2 years.
Mm.
It wasn't
Mm.
a normal to go and enjoy a film in a theater. So now when they go and watch in a theater, they want to enjoy it with their friends, they want to clap, they want to whistle. It's a
Communal
experience.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
a communal experience, and I think that's the reason that suddenly this whole conversation on these films has started. I mean, if this
Mm.
was happening even through the pandemic, every 2 months a film was coming out, it wasn't people would have liked the film, but we won't have spoken about it like this.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, I think what matters is a good film, whatever genre it is, whatever it is saying, it's a good film or a bad film. If it's a
Mm.
good film, everyone will lap it up. If it's a bad film, no one will watch it.
Yeah, and I think also because of the pandemic as well, it's been a reflective time for a lot of us. So I
That's
think
right.
to what extent was that period for you a time to reflect on yourself as an actor, and to what extent has doing films like Runway 34 and Attack as well, for that matter, which was obviously a recent release, how much was that a conscious decision for you to choose those films as part of your reflective process as an artist?
So, of course, there was a lot of reflective process that went in, because I realized in the first pandemic, in the first lockdown, that I'd never taken a break. I didn't know what it was like sitting at home.
Mm.
My longest vacation was a 7-day vacation in my life till then. Yeah. And I started working at 18. So imagine,
Yeah.
after 10 years, I'm like, oh my God, I've only taken 7 days of break at a stretch. And then I've been put in this lockdown where I didn't know what was happening, but it gave me time to reflect more than a professional, reflect as a person, of
Mm.
what truly matters, of what is true joy? What is it that I wake up for? What keeps me happy? Because everything else is a byproduct. Yeah? If you're happy, you'll get to everything else. You'll be able to achieve everything that you desire. But I think a lot of that reflection happened. And so Runway 34 is a film that happened after the first lockdown. While we were just getting out of that lockdown is when the narration happened. But I don't think that was as much. That decision was dependent on the lockdown. I'm anyways a person who wants to do different kind of roles because I feel our job is so amazing where you get to play different roles with different films.
Mm.
So I want to experiment. I want to do the commercial films. I want to experiment with films like Runway and Attack. And Attack was happening before the pandemic. Actually, we were
Okay.
supposed to finish. We were just about 15-20 days left when the first lockdown happened. So
Mm.
then it was a task to shoot that because it was an international team. There were international lockdowns. We had to send them back. So that's not necessarily a film which came out from that process. But I think my outlook to life changed. If subconsciously my decision making has changed, I don't know. But my outlook to life and my just being changed.
I see that change. I think because the last time we spoke was actually back in 2019, I believe, over the phone for De De Pyar De. Actually, at that point, that was the last time that we caught up. And again, I feel like there's this sense of confidence within you. I feel like even in your answers as well, because in that 2019 one, you were very like you had your answers and that's it. But now you've become so much more articulate, and I love that. I love this change in you, Dr. Preet. I think it's wonderful to
Wow.
see that.
Thank you. There you go. See, I said subconsciously, I don't know if I've changed because that's not something that I evaluate on an everyday basis, but that's great to know. Thank you.
No, definitely. But I think it's an exciting time as well for you, Rakul, because you've got some amazing films coming out. Like you've got Dr. G, you've got Ayalaan, and then you've also got Indian too, which I'm very excited for because I'm a huge Kamal Hassan fan. I mean, he's like
Right.
the king. I mean, he's amazing. So again, just to kind of re-emphasize what you said, it seems like versatility is quite the approach for you now as an actor, right? And to what extent do you think these projects will prove to be a game changer for you, actually?
I don't know about a game changer because that's not for me to decide. That's for me to just hope, and it's for the industry to sort of take notice of that and the audiences to figure that out. But yes, my endeavor as an actor is constantly to try and show that don't tag me, don't associate a certain genre with me because our job is to act as an actor and we
Hmm.
should be able to do that. So if I can play, say, an Aisha in De De Pyar De, which is a commercial Nach Gana film, then I can also play Captain Tanya in Runway. And I can also play a scientist and a doctor in Attack and Dr. G, respectively.
Mm.
So I am trying to sort of give a diversity, also so that people don't get bored and see me differently. I don't want them to get bored of me so soon. So,
Right.
so that's my effort attempt. But all I can say is that I hope that I'm not slotted, and I keep and I can win over that trust of the makers. That you give me a role, and I will give you my 100% to deliver your vision.
Right, lovely. And I think if you could also tell me a little bit about your experiences of the titles that I mentioned. How has your experience been of working on Dr. G. Ayalaan and Indian 2? How has that been for you? Because you're working with such great actors in that as well.
Every film's been a great experience. Dr. G is a script which is again very dear to my heart. I remember reading it before the lockdown and loving it. And then, of course, the film was, on the back burner for a while because lockdown happened. There's that. And then again, when I got a call, I said, "This is a film I'm doing because I connected so much with the story." Ayushmann is a fantastic actor. Him being Punjabi, me being Punjabi, we had some Punjabi jokes on set, a lot of food conversations, a lot of hate Punjabi conversations. And working with Shefali Shah, who's a fantastic actor. So I think that film's been a great experience. Again, with Ayalaan and Indian 2, working with, Ayalaan is a very VFX heavy film, alien space. So we finished shooting for the film. The post is going to take long because it's difficult. And of course, working with Kamal Hassan sir, he's a he's a legend, and I just feel getting to work with these legends, whether it's Kamal sir or Amitabh Bachchan sir, it just it's just still like a dream,
Mhm.
because you've always, as kids, heard that name, looked up to these people. So for me, it's still not sunk in. It never does.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to. I want that excitement in me always whenever I get to work with a legend actor. So
Um,
it's a great experience. And the other films also then I'm working on is Chhatri Wali, where I play a
mhm.
condom tester. That was a great experience. Working with Akshay sir, he's again amazing.
Mhm.
Workaholic, chilled, uh, keeps
Mhm.
cracking jokes, disciplined, disciplined to the T. Yeah, all these films have just been amazing.
That definitely sounds like Akshay for sure. But yes, I think it's wonderful again. How subconsciously also you're doing a lot of sci-fi oriented movies as well. Actually, because obviously, like you said, Ayalaan, you've done Attack as well. Dr. G again, there's a bit of a science element to it.
But there's no sci-fi
But
there.
not
It's just
sci-fi, but like a lot of science influence sort of roles that's
it's
coming
just
out. So that's
science.
quite
But that's
interesting.
something I didn't think of. It's just happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this is the beauty of life. I think it's just things just happen. And I think Runway 34 looks like a very engaging film. We earlier had a film called Flight, actually, which was also like a
Denzel
plane
Washington.
thriller. Yeah, Flight. And then we also even an Indian film called Flight as well, which released during the pandemic again, which was also very ahead of its time as well. And I think it's wonderful to see, Bollywood, I think, trying to reinvent and make such different content. And I think it's wonderful because you've also been a part of that as well. So I can't wait to catch the film in cinemas, Rakul Preet, and it's always wonderful to catch up with you.
Likewise, and please watch the film. Thank you.
Definitely. Lovely, Rakul Preet. Take
Thank
care.
you.